Thank you for giving me a chance to speak on this session, and thank you to the organizers for inviting ACME to speak on this session. Uh, I'll just take 2 minutes to introduce ACME, probably because we have not been media CV, we have not been doing a lot of dollar bonds or public issuances. We just did one of our dollar bonds last month. As you rightly said, sir, we are the pioneer in setting up solar power plants in India. We started fairly early in 2011 when we set up first solar power plant of 15 megawatts. Since then, we have grown into a leading or probably one of the largest solar only independent power producer in the country. Currently, our portfolio is around 5 odd gigawatts. In terms of our balance sheet size is around $1.7 billion. As we speak, we are adding around $1.1 billion of additional assets into our balance sheet. So when we exit this financial year, we would have full 5.0 gigawatts of solar capacity operational. That's, I think, what we have achieved so far in solar. Now, as a next wave, sir, this is, as every speaker spoke about, probably the next phase of growth for us as developers would be not just plain vanilla consumption of solar power, but probably conversion of this solar power into some other products like green hydrogen, or I would go one step forward, green ammonia. And as a company, I think we have taken lead into experimenting and adopting the technologies that are required to produce green hydrogen from solar power and converting green hydrogen into green ammonia. We have set up, I think, the world's or probably one of the first fully integrated green ammonia plant in Bikaner. It's a semi-industrial scale plant, which is powered by, it is completely off-grid, and it is powered by 7.5 megawatts of solar panels that produce electricity, which is fed into an electrolyzer to break water and produce green hydrogen. So that plant is operational now. So we are successfully producing green hydrogen from a fully off-grid solar power plant. Not only that, by the mid of in this month itself, by let's say 15th of September, we will also be producing green ammonia from the green hydrogen that is being produced by solar power plant, 7.5 solar megawatts of solar power plant. Now, why we did that was our promoter is actually highly, he gets very excited by technology. He's a technocrat. He's unlike maybe other developers where the background is more finance oriented. We have been a technology focused company. So he has this vision of now branching out into start producing green hydrogen. And this was a first step from our side where we set up this small plant from our own equity, because it was very important for us to pilot and showcase how these three different technologies, when I say three different technologies, I say solar, which produces power. Then there is a second piece, which is electrolyzer, which breaks which breaks water into hydrogen and oxygen. And the third technology is a Synloop, which combines hydrogen and the nitrogen that is captured from air to produce ammonia. So these three components of technologies, they are well tested, but they are well tested independent of each other. Solar is more than 20 years old technology. Electrolyzer is 60 years old technology. Synloop again is like decades old technology. So there's no questions of these technologies when they are working independent of each other. But as soon as they start to come together, and this is I'm talking about, we are also setting up a 300 tons per day or less than 1 million ton per year green ammonia plant in Oman. That would probably be the one of the first of its type fully integrated large scale commercial plant in the world. We chose Oman for various factors, but that will be I think the first plant, a large scale plant. So I would want to talk about the challenges that developers like us are facing or will face, because speakers have spoken about that there's a lot of potential for green hydrogen. I think that is now done and dusted, and we all accept that green hydrogen is the way to go forward. And probably for some point in time till the technologists are able to find out how to transport green hydrogen successfully, maybe green ammonia will also remain a commodity that will be sold in the world's markets. So one important challenge that we are facing is institutions, lending institutions. They are not very comfortable taking risk in supposedly a new technology, because what happens is when you bring solar and electrolyzer and syn loop together, your capital cost doubles of what it would have been otherwise for a solar power plant. These now, given the nature of this whole setup, this again becomes an infrastructure investment. So you need long-term lending partners who can give you loans for 18 to 20 odd years. Hence, you need lending institutions who are active in infrastructure. Unfortunately, these lending institutions, they don't understand electrolyzer, they don't understand syn loop. They understand solar very well, but they don't understand how solar will behave when coupled with electrolyzer and syn loop. So that is the first challenge. I think my request to the lending community would be that they should start investing a lot of time to understand the technology. Because of course, developers like us are there to educate the lending institutions, but it would take some time, it would delay the process. But if they really want to participate in this interesting, I would say, a phase of green hydrogen, then probably it's their responsibility also to get comfortable on how these technologies work together and whether the risk is really perceived or it is the actual risk as well. That is, I think, the first challenge that we will face, the industry will face when it comes to producing green hydrogen on a commercial scale. That's one. Second challenge is, so far, gray ammonia has been sold as a commodity on spot prices. I think around 20 to 25% offtake agreements will be long term. But when I say long term, they may be just 5 years, 7 years, but not like 20 years. And most of the balanced gray ammonia will be sold as off spot market. Now, if you see, this is an infrastructure asset where you are putting almost double the capital that you would require for a solar asset to set up this plant, which means for it to be bankable, we cannot sell our product on a spot basis because the lenders then don't know what price this new product that we are making, that we are producing is going to get. So the second challenge that we are facing is we want to sign offtake agreements on a long-term basis. When I say long-term, it should be at least 25 years, 23 years. Then only the commercials of this plant make sense, because we need loans like a normal solar power plant or a renewable power plant where the debt ratio is 75%. So unless you have a debt ratio of 75% or thereabout, the production of green hydrogen or green ammonia will not be commercially viable. If you start using manufacturing matrices where the loan life is 5 years, 7 years, these plants will not be viable. They have to have long-term tie-up of capital. They have to have long-term offtake agreements. So these two have to be achieved now for this industry to grow the way we want them to grow. The third challenge that I think this is more like a generic challenge which we have been facing just because we are a part of a developing country. The challenge is the capital cost generally is very high in developing countries. Everything else remaining the same, a solar project being set up in India will fetch a fully hedged, and let me call fully hedged rate of anywhere between 9 to 10%. I'm using fully hedged because, of course, you can use a lot of hedging products to optimize your cost. But then in any of the product which is not a full swap, you are exposed to some currency risk. So if you were to use a full swap, even with the current green bond rates, your cost of debt will be, I would say, will be more expensive than what a similar plant could get in India with a bank like an SBI. So I think that is the second problem that this sector generally faces, and why, if you see we have been able to only reach to 100 gigawatt of renewables versus a target of 175 that the government had kept for year 2022. So availability of capital, availability of cheap capital is something that I think I don't have any ideas how to get capital cheap because it also depends on the call that is being taken on India as a currency depreciation versus the currency of the developed countries, and overall India's rating when it comes to attracting low cost of capital. But I think that is the third important challenge that the industry will face, because ultimately, unless and until we produce green ammonia or green hydrogen at a commercially viable price, which means a price of around $350 to $400 a ton, I think the industry will struggle I would say, to become commercially viable. Because see, it will follow a similar trajectory of solar. If you just go back in history, solar was a very small industry, or wind for that matter. Also, wind started a little bit earlier than solar started. Since I come from solar, let me just talk about solar. So solar struggled initially because the tariffs were very high. So the demand that we were getting from utilities were very muted. Even after when SECI came into picture, right, the industry was not picking up because the cost of production of solar power was still higher than the grid parity. But as and when the modules cost started falling, developers like us brought us innovations on DC, AC overloading, etc. The cost of financing also started falling, because in the beginning you used to get only 10 to 12 years of loans. Now lenders are very comfortable giving us loans of 18 to 20 odd years. All these factors brought down, generation of solar power much below grid parity. And because of that, the industry exploded. And that's why you see this 100 gigawatts of, I would say, partial success that we have achieved so far is a result of that. Had the module prices been higher, had the cost of funding been higher, or long-term loans not being available, I think we would have struggled to reach 20, 25 gigawatts even. So, so I think, just to summarize from our standpoint, since we have some practical experience of setting up green hydrogen, green ammonia plant on a semi-commercial scale in India, and now our Oman project is under construction, in the sense of we are seeking approvals. We have already acquired land. We have reached out to lending community to provide the financing support. So just to summarize, I think these are the three challenges any developer would face when it comes to setting up green hydrogen plants. The challenge number one would be the understanding of technology that the lenders don't have. So it would need a lot of education from our side. Second would be availability of long-term offtake contracts. Long-term offtake contracts is required because you have to have a long-term lending line. Unless you do that, you will still struggle to produce, let's say, green hydrogen and equivalent of that green ammonia at a cost of $500, $550 a ton, which I think will not make much of commercial sense. And the whole excitement about green hydrogen and green ammonia could peter out. It has to be commercially viable for it to take off. I think with that, I would want to end my views on this. And I would once again want to thank the organizers, and thanks Rajneesh sir for giving me this opportunity to speak on this session.
Thank you very much, Neeraj.